we have a lot to dive into this whole Xbox studio closures and more. My thoughts on the whole situation. I'm going to take a little controversial stand on the whole matter and more. So first off, we're going to talk about the whole studios in negotiation slash being closed. There's Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory, Double Fines are all the studios in question among many are others likely to be closed or be spun off to go independent, still losing people's jobs. Um, from Jason Schreider, he's saying this is going to take a couple days, if not weeks. So them negotiating whether they're going to be closed or not be closed is going to take probably a couple weeks. So we won't really know what's going on. So every single outlet that's going out, the Arcane's going to close. All these other studios, State of Decay Studios is going to close. All these studios are just speculation right now. But as of June 16th, according to The Verge, by its own sources, that Ninja Theory will be indeed closing down and looking for new buyers. No updates on Compulsion Games or Double Fine. Now, news stories are coming out from Ninja Theory that new game, the Hellblade spin-off, it looks like, they already knew that studio is going to they're going to close that studio prior to the Xbox showcase. They're doing that to show other buyers, hey, they have a new game in production. It looks fantastic. You guys should buy them because we're going to close that studio. And the fact that Xbox thinks that this is a good marketing or good idea, it is not. That is fucking terrible. And the fact that it is just, it is I can't even think the word. I'm just so mad because it's just, you don't do that. These are people's lives. The fact that they knew about it and just like, we don't care. We're going to still close you out, but we're going to show off your new game. So hopefully you get a good landing spot. That's false advertisement. That's the word I was looking for. Because the game is coming out next year, or supposedly now. And it looks fantastic. And I've never played a Hellblade game, but this game looks good. Now we don't even know if it's going to come out. And then, of course, Arcane's studios also rumored to be shutting its doors. That's a rumor. That is a rumor that a lot of outlets are saying. And then if you look it up, there's no credible outlet that is saying that it's going to happen. It's a lot of speculation. This video is very hard to make because I'm just so fucking mad that Xbox bought all these studios and now they would just want to close them. I'm going to get further in the video and my thoughts on that. Okay, thoughts on the whole Ninja Theory closing. Why showcase their new Xbox, their new game at the Xbox showcase if they knew they were on the chopping block? This screams, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know any kind of business. It really doesn't. And the fact that they knew about this, and I believe Ninja Theory knew about it also, it's just insane. It's poor business. It's poor everything. It just screams like, I do not know what I'm doing. We're going to send you off to the slaughter. Hopefully you get bought by either Sony or some other company. I'm going to throw it out to Capcom. I mean, that'd be pretty dope. Capcom's on a roll right now. And I think they don't really need them, but I mean, they could have them underneath their umbrella. This fucking sucks, man. I don't want no studios to close. I'd rather have us have a variety of different kinds of games come out. But it's not going to look like that in the near future. Now, Arcane Studio, which is making a new Blade game, which comes on why would they close that studio? Because from what I've been hearing, they've been putting out tweets or Blue Sky, whatever, saying that they're still working on it. They're still cooking on the game, even though we haven't had anything on the new Blade game. And the thing is, this is Blade. We never got a single player narrative game around Blade, just Blade in general. Blade is a cool character, believe it or not. I actually bought some more comics to get his backstory a little bit more so I know better. So when I read the Midnight Suns trade paperbacks, I'm a little bit better entwined with Blade. But Blade is an amazing character. And the fact Arcane has this property and is working on them, and now they're like, oh yeah, that game you're making, fuck it, we're gonna close you down, or rumored to close you. I just don't know what the hell. I don't know what it is. Is it just a Blade property? Because we haven't got a Blade movie in forever. Marvel can't even touch that shit without it even crumbling. Now it's the game. I mean, Wesley Snipes was right. He said there was going to be just one Blade, and he's the only Blade. And then we have the Marvel game, the Marvel also game that is Captain America, I believe, and Black Panther. I think it's called 1945 or something like that. That's still in development. I don't even know what's going on with that. I truly hope that majority of these studios go independent. I know there's going to be a lot of job loss and a lot of cuts, but I really do hope they land on their feet. I do not want them to close their studios. But again, I'm going to get a little bit further down into this video and we'll talk about it more. And my thoughts on the whole Xbox situation. That's not even the only thing that's happening that's big in the Xbox ecosystem. Craig Duncan steps down, and also Luis also departs. Duncan oversees some of the following and more: Halo Studios, The Coalition, Flight Sim, Turn 10, Playground Games, and many, many more. He has been a part of the Xbox organization since 2011 and is best known for running the highly regarded UK developer Rare for nearly 14 years. And the thing is, he knew about these layoffs happening. He was like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This shit's gonna blow up. I want out. And good for him. Because, for one, I just named a handful of studios. He had a lot of major studios to oversee. That's way too much to be like, oh yeah, what are you making again? Okay. Keep doing that. And then like, these are big studios. To have one person like oversee like the majority of these big studios is insane. That's like not feasible. Person's gonna get eventually burnt out. And meanwhile, Luis was the Xbox Game Studio Chief of Staff, and he will be also leaving the company. Again, I believe he got word of all these studios closures and layoffs happening and chopping heads. They're just like, yeah, I'm out of here. I don't care how long I've been here. I'm going to go somewhere else. It's a lot easier. I don't need any of this. This is just crazy because this is probably not the first time we've seen this happen. Xbox has been closing studios left and right, purchasing them, and then a few years later, closing them. Okay, so my thoughts on the whole thing. I believe Satya Nadella is a huge problem of the layoffs and studio closures with just poor business management. And I just honestly think he has his hands in this thing and trying to understand this when realistically he should just let Xbox alone and let it do its thing. But he hasn't. I believe he's the puppet master of buying these studios, and then when things don't go right or things don't turn a profit or whatever to maybe his standard, they're like, yeah, do your work, close them. I truly think that's what is happening and what has been happening. This is the big controversy that I'm going to say out the quiet part out loud. I don't think they should have bought all these studios, in my honest opinion. It should have just focused on the partnerships and what made them successful along with the hardware. How could you fix those problems now? Have Xbox be spun off on its own company and let it become a publisher versus trying to be a hardware developer and a game publisher. This is true. They should never bought all those studios. They should never acquire Bethesda, Activision, Blizzard, all these other studios, Arcane, all these big name studios. They should just focus on their Halo, Gears. I think it was Fable still in the beginning, a couple others, and then still do partnerships with these companies, these big companies and small companies, and be like, hey, we can get you on this, on our Game Pass, blah blah blah. And because right now, not a lot of people have Xboxes as much as people have PlayStations, and that is the reason why the next gen console for Xbox is going to cost so high. I believe PlayStation's is going to cost a little bit high, but it's not as much higher than Xbox's, in my personal opinion. And the thing is, the more they talk about Game Pass, I even think that was a bad idea. Because it seems to me like these publishers that get focused on or featured on the Game Pass, it seems like they don't get enough money to recoup what they like maybe spent on making the game. It seems like the whole, like, when artists go to Spotify and they have to have so many hits and so many downloads and so many plays to even make like maybe like a couple $1,000. You know, it reminds me of that method. I personally, I like buying my games just because, yes. But back in the day when it was like Game Pass was like $10, you could get so many games and a lot of good games for day one Game Pass. That was good, but at this time frame, I think they're not making enough on Game Pass. They're just not. I think, in all honesty, they're going to have to rethink that also, as far as like how they do it, and still make a profit if they want to keep it. I'm trying to think. I'm reading my notes. Sorry. Oh, and then the whole exclusive. So this is my theory on the whole exclusive, because the whole exclusive games isn't working. Gears E-Day was originally supposed to be going to the PS5, supposedly. I have yet to read any outlet that actually said that. I'm just hearing a lot of speculation that was supposed to be going to PS5. Then, like, almost the last minute, they cut it and said, no, this is going to be Xbox exclusives. Exclusive. Because this is what I heard on Kind of Funny Games. Which, in all honesty, if that was the case, they should have let it happen, because having just two exclusives would just not help sell consoles or get people back on the Xbox ecosystem. It's not. People are not going to buy an Xbox just for one game, if not eventually two exclusives. They're just not. If anything, I can see people buying up the Rogue Ally just to play that, because depending which one you get, you can plug into your gaming monitor or your TV and just play like that. And instead of buying almost $1,000, or well, having a console. Plus, if you get the handheld, you have Steam and you can play Steam games, so you'll have best of both worlds, kind of. And then I also go on to say, plus having Gears on Xbox exclusive won't recoup that massive development budget of $400 million, which will cost Xbox even more money. And a beloved franchise will ultimately fail because of Xbox's decisions. That is the rumor. That is I think it's Kotaku is saying, or maybe Polygon. I have to look it up. Is that the budget for Xbox's Gears E-Day is $400 million. And if you just slap it on PC and Xbox, there's not enough people with Xboxes to recoup that money. And if you just slap it on day one Game Pass, how are you recouping that money? You're not. You just won't. So then it fails, and then you look at the studio like, well, hey man, no one wanted it. And it's like, no, a lot of people wanted it, but you fucked up the system. If you would have slapped it on like PlayStation, I would say Nintendo, but it would never be on Nintendo. But if you slapped it on PlayStation, I think in all honesty, it would recoup its money back within the first 30 days, maybe 60 days. It would sell a lot of copies, but now it's just on Xbox exclusive, and now you're going to be like, we need you to make $400 million plus. There's not enough Xboxes in people's households to recoup that. It just isn't. And then on top of that, there's some more news with Call of Duty. Well, not so great news with them. Treyarch Studios head leaving after a decade. Mark Gordon is leaving Treyarch after 22 years with the company. Yet another major shift across Xbox and its studio series. Mark helped with the following Call of Duty's projects: Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, World at War, and the entire Black Ops series. All I can say is that I really do hope that he enjoys his retirement, because 22 years with the company, and you spent majority of your life with the company making some pretty cool Call of Duty games. The earlier Black Ops were pretty good. I'm not familiar. I don't know if I played Call of Duty 2 or 3. It's been so long. Those are years ago. But the fact of the matter is, I really do hope he enjoys his retirement. If he does retire, I don't think he will. A lot of these people say they retire, and then a few years later they start up a new studio, or they do a certain. They go to a different studio and they start working there. But I just don't know. And then I'm going to link this into this video. Polygon did a huge article. Microsoft should get out of games before it does more damage. I truly do hope. And the article that they say is that they should have never bought any of these games studios, including the ones I said. I totally agree with this. Majority of this article I totally agree with. They should never bought these studios. They should have just focused on the hardware. And the majority of their top performers like Halo, Gears, I think it was Fable, and then Forza, and all these other games that were like the focal point of Xbox in later years on. Instead of buying up all these things, because they wouldn't have a hardware problem now if they just invested in all their hardware like Sony has over the last decade, if not more. But yeah, it's a good article. I read it today. I highly suggest you guys read it. It's gives you like basically a spec on, or at least a insider's look on what Xbox is really doing. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen in the next couple weeks, if not months, with Xbox. I was really hyped with their Xbox showcase. I really was. Now, with all this shit happening all over again, it seems like it just happened with Phil Spencer. Now it's happened with Sasha. I don't know. It's hard to be a fan for Microsoft anymore. It's hard to be a fan for any kind of big studio, unless it's Nintendo. Nintendo, I have yet to see them actually like, oh yeah, we're buying up all these studios, and then maybe a year later we're going to close them. The only thing that they got going on is their whole Pokemon shit. That's with Pal World. And trying to sue them, which is dumb. I think their Pal World's doing a much better job as far as like knockoff Pokemon games than the current Pokemon games. But I pass it off to you. What do you guys think about the whole studio layoff and the conspiracies and the theories of who's going out, who's being negotiated? Do you think the whole studios being bought years ago and currently was a good idea or a bad idea? And what do you think about basically Treyarch's Mark Gordon basically leaving Treyarch? Let me know in the comments, because I really want to discuss this. I can't be the only one that thinks that this whole thing is just bad. Let me know. Peace, guys.